I would like to personally thank the natalists and the non-vegans for getting us to where we are. Hola. Hello. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Maya the Mumbler, and we like talking about philosophy. Well, ethics-focused philosophy a lot here on the channel. If that's your type of thing, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Without further ado, let's get started. It's so quiet in here. Anyway, unless you live underneath a rock, it's not really much of a surprise to anyone that we are facing the consequences of global warming. The climate crisis. It's fucking mid-80s for the high today in Denver, and it's still March. Like, we're supposed to be getting snow still. Lots of snow. It's like, we're supposed to be getting snow all the way into June. The mountains are dry. It's scary. The situation is really scary right now. And I feel like, it's not even a feeling, like it's very much so obvious that a big chunk of the population does not care. Life is going on as normal. And sure, you might say, like, what is one supposed to do other than vote, other than stay informed, other than, try to make a reduction in our consumption. Which, believe it or not, is also asking too much of most people. Everybody wants to blame the companies, which, sure, they are to blame. It's not like big oil or big meat, big agriculture is not making a lot of money off of the situation. Yeah, they are to blame, 100%. But you cannot continue to give these companies money all willy-nilly and expect them to change. And each individual person who claims that I'm only one person, there's nothing I can do, turns into a million people, a billion people with that mindset, and we are now where we're at. Believe it or not, it still starts with individual action, and people want to blame anything else instead of taking personal accountability for their footprint, their carbon footprint. And it's really annoying. It's why we are where we are. And I don't think things are going to get better because people refuse to get better. People refuse to take accountability for the suffering that their actions cause. Unfortunately, still only 1% of the population is vegan or plant-based. All vegans are plant-based, but not all plant-based dieters are vegan, which is the unfortunate truth. Plant-based dieters still wear leather. They don't think there's anything immoral about exploiting other sentient beings, and they just so happen to think that eating animals is a personal choice. And so we're not about plant-based dieting on this channel. I may talk a lot about my plant-based diet, but veganism in itself is a philosophy that centers the animals. And so if what you're doing is not for the animals, at the end of the day, you are not vegan. I think that's my heater. Please ignore it if you can hear it. It's been hard these past couple of weeks. I mean, it's been hard for years to come. But like now that, it's kind of hard to ignore. I mean, some people are still going to ignore it because they're delulu, and it's ignoring things is so much easier than taking personal accountability and actually doing the right thing, actually making an effort to change your habits. Like I said, it's mid-80s in March. Here in Denver, we're a mile high above sea level. Like, when the sun is gone, it's cold. But we are getting roasted here. It snowed like 4 times over this year, if even, and like the snow quickly melted the next day. I've heard that the water right now is at peak, which is not good because summer hasn't even started yet, and we need that snowfall to get us through the summer, and there are plenty of counties, plenty of states that are reliant upon the Colorado River as a water source. Things are looking really bad. And despite this, there are still people, many of people, having children for some reason. I'm really starting to wonder, like, do you love your kids? Do you even want, like, what's best for them? Because if you did, you wouldn't be having them. Ethics aside, why are you bringing kids into a climate crisis that nobody, not even yourself, might add, because most of you refuse to eat plant-based to help the environment. So, why are you bringing kids into a climate crisis that nobody wants to fix?
Morons! I'm surrounded by morons!
And I literally had a friend, an ex-friend, who is pretty much on the same wavelength as I am in that this is kind of a hellscape. Like, there's not really much good in the world, and life can be horrific, and shit's not looking good, and she is still hell-bent on having children.
Morons! I'm surrounded by morons!
Mind you, I said ex-friend for a reason, because I cannot deal with apathy. Apathy is such a turnoff, especially when there are things that you can still do well within your power to make the world a better place. It's like even fellow vegans who you would think are like there empathy-wise still have not thought about the climate crisis that they're bringing children into, let alone that, of course, having kids as a vegan is not a guarantee that your kids will turn out vegan. So potentially another non-vegan being brought into the world to add to animal suffering and exploitation, which is lovely, lovely. Why is this species so flawed and so egotistical? I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, what do we have to offer this planet? What do we have to offer? We have taken all the resources and we have built concrete buildings. They just exacerbate the problem. We're not repelling the heat. Now we are absorbing the heat. And these concrete jungles are not doing us any favors. Like, sure, cities have their pros with walkability, accessibility to things that tend to be within a closer radius because it's a concentrated area. Of course, cities themselves are not the problem, but every time you talk about what have humans done for the planet?
Like, oh, well, look at all of the great stuff that we've built. Look at the cars that we've come up with. Look at all these cool things that we've invented. Look at the internet.
Social media has its pros for sure, but I feel like people are just addicted to their phones now, and you can be fed whatever your algorithm feeds you, and there's no thinking outside of the box. You're just eating up whatever the algorithm feeds you. And many of us are spending like half of our lives on our phones, which I guess, like, there's not really much of an alternative when it comes to the climate crisis and going outside. Like, it's hot as fuck. It's miserable. Why would you go outside in these conditions? Maybe the oligarchs have designed this to be the case. Like, maybe what they wanted was for us to sit inside all day and be on our phones. And we continue to blame them and then give them money for exacerbating the problem. People want to complain about meat companies not humanely slaughtering or treating the animals. Why would they treat them well in the first place if they're only seen as products? And why would they treat them humanely if you are continuing to give them money for body parts and animal byproducts and secretions? Like,
Hey, I don't like what you're doing, but here's some money. You know, I hope you fix the problem, but also take my money because I'm gonna keep eating this shit up. Like, maybe you could treat the animal a little bit better, but also good job because I probably could never slaughter the animal myself. And like, thank you.
I cannot befriend people right now who are in this certain delusion, or not even in a certain delusion. They're just setting their offspring up for failure, for misery. Like, by default, life is suffering. Even if we didn't have the climate crisis, I would still be pushing antinatalism. I am by all means not a conditional antinatalist. I think that it is immoral no matter how you look at it. Creating needs. There is no need to be alive. Life is not necessary. It does not need to be perpetuated. The world will not miss us at all. In fact, the world likely would be better off without us humans here, making the wild animal population go extinct, making the oceans so hot that the coral reefs are dying out, creating mountains and mountains of plastic and creating islands of plastic in the ocean. Okay, what have we done for this planet? I'm looking for a good answer. Like, what positives have we done for this planet as a species? Not to mention that the other half of our species, particularly men, are very much so flawed. I don't believe in male feminists. I'm sorry. I was in a relationship with one. I was proven otherwise. Maybe there are actual male feminists out there. It takes a certain level of empathy to fight against the patriarchy, something that men benefit from. Sure, there are downsides to it, but this world was built for men. I don't want to say that it was solely built by men, as women have helped build up so much of what we have today, and we are not getting credit for it, but the world was built for men. And was it just in the past 50 years that women were allowed to vote, were allowed? Well, now it's been repealed because apparently bodily autonomy is a controversial subject. The lack of funding for education here is definitely starting to show, considering who we voted in
Again!
just recently. Oh, and yeah, not to mention the wars. The new war that we're in now, which is benefiting nobody. Americans didn't want this. Obviously, Iranians didn't want this. And here we are, you know? Adding more carbon into the air, exacerbating the climate crisis even further, causing more suffering, bombing schools, killing children. What a beautiful species we are. Amazing. Not to try to get stuck into a little echo chamber, but honestly, it works great for my sanity. I surround myself with fellow vegans, fellow child-free people. That is like my main basis these days. You have to be vegan and at least child-free. I know that antinatalism is very hard to grasp for a lot of people, but I mean, so is veganism. And thankfully, I've been able to find a good amount of antinatalists in vegan spaces because the philosophies go hand in hand. Antinatalism is suffering prevention. Veganism is also a suffering prevention philosophy. And so you can't claim that you are against suffering while paying for animals to be slaughtered or exploited or commodified. And you cannot claim to be against suffering while unnecessarily bringing lives here to experience suffering, undoubtedly. Very consistent to be vegan antinatalist. I just can't. I can't. I can't be bothered to befriend people. If people want to be educated, that's fine. I'm happy to inform. I'm happy to educate. Most people don't want that. Most people don't want to hear anything about their bad habits. Then you become the villain for pointing out something that they are doing, a habit that they are a part of. And that's why people hate vegans. That's why people hate antinatalists, because it's easier to hate them instead of actually changing your habits. I don't understand why some vegans want Delulu friends who are a part of the problem. Like, they stay quiet in hopes that maybe they will change their habits. But it's like, where, at one point, do we hold them accountable? By not saying anything, by keeping the peace, we are allowing them to think that their habits are okay, when obviously they are not. We are vegan for a reason. No, we can take a 10-minute chunk out of Dominion and you'll probably remember why you decided to go vegan in the first place. And if watching documentaries like Dominion makes you feel nothing, you probably ought to get checked out. It's easier to choose to be numb because we are not living in the nicest place that people still can't fathom not bringing other people into to experience. What about life is great? I was talking to my sister the other day on the phone. We don't talk too much because she's delusional. She was telling me that she likes being alive, and I asked her, like, what about life do you enjoy? Like, also, of course, you don't know anything else. Of course, everybody is afraid of death. It's like, it's easy to say I love being alive when you don't really have a choice. You might argue, oh, you have a choice, but it's like, what way is there to go out peacefully? Suicide statistics, I say this all the time on my channel, but you are very much more likely to fail at suicide attempts than you are to like actually succeed. And like, the body is built to choose life. The body is built to fight for as long as possible because evolution, and that's what works. That's what keeps the species going. Just because nature works that way does not mean that it is a good thing. But all she could give me was, oh, I like being alive, and food. And I'm like, no, the food that you enjoy is not a good thing. It is not a good thing in the slightest. I don't think she came up with like anything. I think she like mentioned love, and I'm like, girl, you're infatuated. Like, I feel like the purest form of love we could have is platonic. No sex involved. Because once, you have that initial connection from the intimacy, the situation gets muddied, the waters get muddied, and you will overlook a lot of things in the sake of love, at least in my personal experience. And I feel like this is very common among women to wave off certain things that men do that are like red flags, and we ignore them for the sake of either keeping the peace, for the sake of love. It's very eye-opening when somebody who you thought was a good person does not exhibit said habits of a good person. And obviously, good and bad is subjective. Everybody doesn't want to be treated a certain way. And if you want to be beat or choked or treated terribly, that's showing signs of an unhealthy upbringing or a need for therapy. Sorry if that's also a controversial opinion, but I don't think anybody in their right mind wants to be treated like shit. But hey.
You don't know anything about me. I want to be abused. It's my right. My right.
Anything you say these days will piss people off. But yeah, it's rough to have thought of somebody as a good person and then come out of the relationship realizing that they were not who you thought they were, and that you were treated a lot worse than you thought you were, and that maybe they never really respected you. Maybe they never really loved you, because if they loved you, then why would they treat you the way that they did? Tough shit. But yeah, I mostly just wanted to come on here and ramble about the climate catastrophe that we are all facing, that seems to be accelerating faster than expected. Yeah, at what point will I no longer be laughing about this situation because I don't have electricity, or I don't have water, or access to food as easily as I used to? And those are scary things to think about. But probably a good time to start prepping. Not to scare anyone, but shit's looking really bad. A majority of the population is not doing anything to make the situation better. People talk about food scarcity and water scarcity like it's not already happening. We have plenty of countries with climate refugees who are leaving and migrating or immigrating to other countries who have better food and water security. And if we think that we are untouchable, look outside, pay attention to the weather, pay attention to the climate. It just hasn't hit us as bad yet, or we're just slightly more prepared, but I know damn well that America is not prepared for what's to come, especially since we have a president who is
into the vegan stuff, I must
in
say,
denial about the situation. And, fine for him, like, he's gonna die in the next decade. I don't think if he even makes it a decade at this point. So his only goal right now is to make as much money as possible. I don't know why. He probably has enough money to retire for the next 5 fucking decades or more, probably more. Like, I don't know why billionaires and oligarchs are so focused on making the most money possible, or juicing people dry and not giving back in any sort of way. It's really sad. The situation of the world is really sad. And I would like to thank my parents for not putting any thought into my future by bringing me here when they were talking about climate catastrophe decades ago. I've only reached 2 decades. Like 4, 5 decades ago, they were talking about this shit. And people want to pretend like they had never been told this, or they didn't think it was real, or they didn't think it was that serious, or we would have fixed it by now. Like, just look at your average person and how willing they are to change something that causes significant suffering. People are slow to change, if they even change at all. Most people just don't care. They go on about their life. They go on and they eat animals. They don't think about it. And if you make them think about it, then they'll hate you for it. And then they will bring kids into a world with more lack of thinkers. And this is how we got where we are. So I would like to personally thank the natalists and the non-vegans for getting us to where we are. The Oscar of our civilization goes to you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I don't want to wish anything bad on people, and especially the children who didn't have a say in being here and also don't have a say in what their parents feed them, which is 98% of the time animal products. But you will reap the fruit of your labor. You will get out what you put in. And if apathy is what drives your life, apathy or ignorance, now is a good time to get educated, to see if there is any way you can make this any easier for the future generations. But knowing the species, you probably won't. Just go about your day, continue eating animal products, continue unnecessarily driving your car, using up resources, consuming without end, and we'll all have to suffer for it. Grab your popcorn, folks. Thanks. Anyways, Maya out.